Petri, and today I'll be talking about Kai'Sa, the most played ADC in League of Legends, with great scaling, but some possibilities in every part of the game. Well, for runes, I definitely recommend going Domination with Hail of Blades almost every time, because Hail of Blades turns Kai'Sa's weak laning phase into a potential to kill. Because with 3 quick auto attacks in W, you're instantly triggering your passive, and your passive triggered one more time is a fight changer. Then you wanna go Taste of Blood because for one, it gives us a better ability to trade in line without ulting. And second, none of these are really useful. I guess if you're going against enemy with no damage and extremely high health, sudden impact may actually do something, since you will be able to trigger your invisibility more times, but no, I'm just kidding. Go Taste of Blood. Next, Eyeball Collection, again, best of the three options. Possibly gives you the highest DPS, and just draw stat increase for Kai'Sa is good. And Ravenous Hunter, we won't be building much self-healing on Kai'Sa. So Ravenous Hunter definitely helps, and with all the damage you deal with your Q, and of course W is there too, but Q is the main damage ability, and Ravenous Hunter can get you up really quickly. For secondary tree, again, Presence of Mind is almost instant pick because you are using your abilities really often. Your Q has really short cooldown. Your E, if you're using it on attack also. So Presence of Mind is really good. Plus it increases your survivability thanks to lowering cooldown of your ultimate. And secondly, this depends on you. It's either a Bloodline or Alacrity. I personally am a big fan of Bloodline because, again, you don't have much self-sustain, but I guess you could take it when you have engage support on your side, go for Bloodline. When you have caster, go for Alacrity. Since Bloodline, basically, your engage support won't be able to heal you in a fight usually, 90%. So you want that self-sustain so you can damage them, and you will be able to chase enemies because they will be engaged on, I guess is the right term. And Alacrity is used with casters because for one, they can give you shields or heals or any of this shit. And also they usually buff your auto attacks or any other parts of your abilities, usually auto attacks, for example Lulu. And this scales with casters really well. So usually I take this according to support, but I'm a bigger fan of Bloodline. And smaller runes never change. It's attack speed, adaptive force, and if you don't have double AP Botlane, armor. That is going to be everything for runes. I'll see you with the rest in the game. Okay, so first off, as always, summoners, you want flash and most often heal. Only instance where you don't want to take this is when you're going against really dominant early game champions like Tristana or Draven, where you the heal would be almost useless against them. So that's the only change I would recommend. And now we can have a look at items. So obviously you will be starting with Dorn's Blight and Health Potion because it's the probably best option. I guess you could try to get Cal, but for Kai'Sa I find Dorn's Blight just way better. But once this is out of the way, we can start to have a look at the important things, which is going to be your mythic item. there are basically only two options, either Gale Force or Kraken Slayer. Most of the time I tend to go for Gale Force because first off it makes duels with other ADCs much easier thanks to that execute active, and thanks to it having an active it works really well. But if enemy teams happen to have probably just two or more really hard tanks, like let's say Ornn or well, Nunu is played a lot lately, the tank Nunu, then you want to go for Kraken Slayer, which just by default gives you better raw stats. So that depends on you. But I prefer my Gale Force. It looks cool. Uh, then you want to buy base boots and start to build your second item so you can deal a lot more damage. That is usually, in most cases, going to be Collector, which helps you with a lot of damage and a lot of stats. After you finish the Collector, you will want to go Berserker Graves, which is the only option for Kai'Sa. After that, it depends which Kai'Sa you want to play, because Kai'Sa can build both AD or AP. So we're gonna start off with AP, which is the less used one, and overall wars. But for that, you will definitely want to take Stud, which, by the way, will immediately upgrade both of your remaining. Oh my god, both of your remaining passive upgrades. So it's a it's a niche that AP Kai'Sa have. And also it increases the damage on your auto attacks as well, so it's nice. After that, you most of the time will try to go for Abandon, which just increases your damage tremendously, as you can see right here. It's just giant. And then you either want to go for Zonia if you want to survive in team fights, or you can try to take Cosmic Drive, which is nice, but I will most often recommend Zonias because it's just a really good item. But apart from that, we are moving back to the marksman tree and are going to be building AD Kai'Sa. With this, you will, and this again depends on the preferences, you can either go for Infinity Edge or Navari Quickbait. They cost the same, so it's just about what you want. I usually prefer going for the Navore because you use your abilities a lot, so having those reduced cooldowns is really strong. And after that, you obviously will go for Infinity Edge, and you can probably, if you feel like it, you can get Runans before Infinite Edge, and this have just like your finishing item. Because Runans are, again, really strong on Kai'Sa, since you can apply your passive to multiple enemies at once. So I would, in a game where I have no info about, I would probably go Navore, Runans, and then Infinity Edge. But if you know that you're not gonna be focusing on team fighting a lot, and there's just gonna be, you will try to get picks and finish the game, then take Runans last. But that is going to be everything for the items. Let's have a look at the let's have a look at abilities. So, first off, your passive. It has a lot of parts in it. So, you basically deal every time you hit enemy champion with your basic attack or your W, you will apply a stack of plasma. with W, you apply either 2 or 3 when it's upgraded. After the 4 stacks have been triggered, you will deal damage according to the target's missing HP, which scales with magic damage. The second part of, and also, really nice thing is that with every auto attack you deal to the target, your basic auto attack damage increases against them. So as you can see right now, it deals bonus 51 damage, now it's 56, and so on. You the mark on them lasts for 4 seconds. Another thing about this is that if you happen to hit them with your W when you're on, let's say, 3 stacks, the remaining stacks will carry over. So right now I hit them and apply the 5th stack with my W. And now if I use it in time, there is that leftover one. And of course, then there's your other part of passive, which is upgrading your basic abilities, which I will talk about when I go over the abilities. So, first off is your Q. It's an area of, I guess you could say, area of damage effect. Well, it attacks every enemy that is in the range of your Q. If there's no one, you can't activate it. Then it will send 6 rockets to nearby enemies, meaning that if you have less enemies in your area, you will deal more damage to the single target because the damage is always evenly split. So right now I know that it will be 3 rockets for each. That's basically the only thing about this ability. Maybe I guess I could say that it only attacks enemies that you see. So if I would spawn an enemy in the bush here, I can't attack him unless I see him, which is really nice when you're trying to escape from someone because you can, how to put it, you can focus single target down when the others disappear in the fog of war. So right now I would attack both of these guys, but once I move, oh yeah, I got the dummy here. Let's do it one more time. But once I would, right now I attack both, but once I move over here, and don't, once I spawn another one right here, and once I move over here, I attack only one. Now I attack two. This took way longer than it should have. Anyways, when you upgrade your Q, you will automatically double the amounts of rockets, so you shoot 12, which if you damage a single target, right now it's about 800 damage with one ability to a zero target, to the target with 0 resistances. Oh my god, what's wrong with me? Then your W is a long range skill shot with a small delay, which shoots a, well, a rocket, which reveals the area it passes through. And the first enemy that is hit is revealed for a short duration and applied 2 stacks of the passive. The more stacks you apply with the rest of your abilities, which is basically just auto attacks, the more damage it will deal. So right now, as you can see, the maximum damage is above 400. And once upgraded, you will get 70% cooldown reduction if you hit an enemy champion, for which I will turn this off, as you can see. And also, you, instead of 2 stacks, the W applies 3 stacks of your passive. So you can really burst down some champions with this. And lastly, your E, which is probably, in my opinion, one of your strongest abilities. Well, you will for a short duration, you will gain a movement speed, which is increased with your attack speed, and also the you become unable to attack for a short duration and gain increased movement speed. The duration is decreased and movement speed is increased with your attack speed. After that duration, you will get an increased attack speed. Right now, as you can see, it's 158%. And once you've done that, you can knock down enemies. I usually tend to use this ability defensively, so I wait for some big skill shot from enemies and they try to dodge them and engage with that increased attack speed. But it's completely fine to just run at them when you know that they already used some of their big spells. And with upgraded version, you just gain invisibility, which is a really big deal since you can juke around enemies and actually remove some abilities from yourself, like Darius's ultimate, which you can just dodge with doing this. And the cooldown, I'll try to show it again. The cooldown is reduced for every auto attack you hit with. Ah, for every auto attack you hit, the cooldown is reduced by half a second, which is extremely strong. Because as you can see right now, it was a few auto attacks, and you can use it again, which is also one of the reasons why Kai'Sa is really mana reliant, because you want to use this ability when you can. And that brings us to your ultimate, which is a long range dash, which right now the distance increases with level. I will try to show you later how big the distance is, but you will get a shield and transport into this circle around your target, where you can choose anywhere you can go, meaning that you can reposition during team fights, use this defensively, use this offensively, pick off targets who are alone, and also you can apply this to many other things. I will talk about that in the mechanics section. So that's basically it. And only thing I will say about your R right now is that when you when your target is in your the ultimate range, you can teleport to the circle anywhere, meaning that you can go further than the circle showcases. Now let's get a bit more to the mechanics. So first off, your basic trading combo in line is going to be 3 auto attacks empowered with Hail of Blades, then using your Q and finish it off with your W. You can possibly use your Q during the last auto attack, since it can be used anytime, and it will look something like this. 3000 damage. And also, nice thing about the QW combo is that when you use your Q, your W is kind of hidden, so they may not see it coming. Anyways, that's the baselining trading combo. You will usually try to go for this as often as possible, because with your Taste of Blood, you will heal some of the damage they deal to you, and you can then slowly chip them down once in a while. And yeah, then we got the escaping part, which I was talking about. When someone is trying to run you down, you just want to press your Q and then use your E as an escape tool. So you will still be dealing damage to them, because once you cast your Q, the targets are, let's say it, the targets are preset and will always target them. So if you even happen to die during your Q animation, you will still release all of your rockets. Same works that if you're running away, all rockets will hit the target which was in the range when you started casting it. Meaning that while you're running away, you can deal a lot of damage to them and then possibly try to engage with your E and rest of your abilities. Uh, that's probably everything there is to Q because it's actually kind of basic ability. Just if you're fighting, try to have as few enemies in the range as possible, and you can deal a lot of damage to them with this one ability. For your W, it can be cast with a flash, and it works something like Ezreal ulti if you wouldn't know. Basically, when you target somewhere, the W will follow the cursor. So if you want to use your W, all you will have to do is to W and then flash to the side, which is usually working in team fights. You can, if you feel like it, you can also try to flash through targets, meaning that you would do this, but I like this to the side thingy more because it's safer and you have much lesser chance to die because Kai'Sa is kind of a glass cannon. And yeah, obviously you can, and yeah, I will probably talk about this right now. You can use your W during your R cast, which means that when you hit, when you're moving to an enemy, you can use your W during the cast if you aim properly and hit them right as you get out of your R R dash animation, which is really nice and can actually win you some fights. And important thing is don't press your E instead of W. Uh, Anyways, back to the E. As I was saying, I usually try to use this defensively, or well, the active defense. So let's say that this is a Morgana right here. You just want to E to the side and then engage on her because she lost the main value in the fight. And there's probably everything to E. It's not so difficult. With R, again, as I was saying, you can use your W during cast, but you can also use your Q during the cast time. Also, if the targets are far enough from your themselves, which I will try to show right now, you can actually hit only one, which is nice when you're just trying to get one target killed quickly. Yeah, like this. Yeah, and that's gonna be it. Now for some a bit more advanced combo. Uh, your ultimate is an auto attack reset. So if you would happen to hit someone in a short range and you want to get rid of them really fast, you can use your W, then flash to the auto attack distance, Q, R, and then the auto attack will quickly come. It looks something like this. You can actually try to use your E, so when you come out, you just have that shield, which also, if you would like to know, you can't dash during your E, but you can reposition from a better place because it is a dash, so it can be countered by things like Jinx's Chompers or Veigar's Wall. and all those other things that stop dashes. Now into some laning and matchups. First off, when you are laning, you usually want to stay safe and uh, and get your level 2, which you can first of nice thing, your Q will be an easy way to get the first 3 melee minions because the Q deals double damage to low health minions. So you can easily farm those 3 and then just quickly get rid of the rest. On level 2, if you have an engaged support, you probably will try to go all in on the weaker of the enemy duo. By weaker, I mean with less mobility. And try to shut them down. Because if you leave laning phase as a winner, you will usually win the game as Kai'Sa. Because Kai'Sa is just like upgraded Vayne. It's once you're fat, you're unstoppable. Kind of. Uh, so that in laning phase, you have a really hard matchup you don't want to engage. Just try to force them to get onto your side of the map and then try to freeze the wave. It's gonna be hard because they have 2 people who can just try to push you under tower, and this is where your abilities come up strong because you can try to use your W to finish off cannon minions, your Q to finish the rest. You can't hit your auto attacks, so you are able to farm under tower. But preferably you just want to hold it here so your jungle has easy time ganking and you know you all basically with any champion you want to hold the wave on your side of the map. Uh, but in mid game, which is usually when one of your turrets fall, the playstyles are a bit different. First off, if you win, you just want to go and take some objectives, which by the way Kai'Sa is great at taking objectives, and try to get some picks with whenever you can. If you would lose and the enemy has a lead on you, just try to stay in the tower grid, basically in the range of any tower. So you just, if they happen to get bot tower, you will be in this area right here. And once you are farmed up, you can go and try to engage with your team. Meanwhile, your support should already be with them. Just try to communicate it out and see. And in late game, you are trying to go just for the fights that you know that you win. So you usually will outduel any bot laner. So if you happen to fight one of them alone, just engage with your WR, kill them, rejoin with your team, try to get Baron or Tower, and push the lane because in 5v4 Kai'Sa is extremely strong. And yeah, for the supports I would recommend, I basically you got the golden duo Leona Nautilus because they have 3 hard CCs, meaning that they will trigger your passive really fast. But you know, there are even some other options. For example, if you happen to get some caster support, as I was saying in the runes, you will probably want something like Lulu or Nami. I personally prefer Nami, but Lulu gives you a bigger boost and helps you survive in the late game. But I like Nami because she basically can help you get picks in the lane. Even though if you would if you would care, the Lulu's what's it called, the squirrel the squirrel transform applies the stack of caustic wounds, which is kind of funny. Anyways, those are my topics I would recommend. Nami, Lulu, Leona, Nautilus. Some other champions that really work well, anything that is a tank and has engaged, so something like Trash. I also, with Kai'Sa, really like Pantheon, which, because of all his strength in early game, can actually get you so many picks, since he will first off apply the stack with his point and click stun. You can engage, and after that, they are usually very low after the Pantheon engage. So your passive will deal a lot more damage. And yeah, something like Pike actually works too, which is almost the same as Pantheon except a bit worse. But he can apply the stack to the whole team if he uses his E right, and is really good. Some of the champions I don't actually, I never want to see with Kai'Sa. I think that no, Lulu, Yume is probably the worst champion to pair with her, because Yume has no line presence, and you need inline when you're playing Kai'Sa, you need inline someone who will be able to help you in the laning phase. Because it's nice that she is extremely strong late game, but you may not even get to there if you don't have any line presence with Kai'Sa. Because she alone, she's strong early game. And that brings us to enemies. I when I'm playing Kai'Sa, I usually try to ban Caitlyn because you have a really low range, and Caitlyn is just gonna outduel you every time she can, because you won't be even able to get close until you get your level 6. And yeah, some of the other bad matchups are obviously Draven, because he is just an early game monster and can get you down before you even realize it. Or maybe if there's an AP bot laner, I would look out for Swain, which I don't know why, but is becoming popular. Also, a call out for Swain support, because Swain, with if he happens to hit his E, you are kind of dead. He just will deal so much damage to you that you won't be able to get in the line and have to recall if his ADC damages you too. And that is probably going to be everything. I I hope that you learned something, and I will see you in the next video. Battery out.